Welcome to IQD Dinar News, your go-to source for the latest updates on currency exchange rates, revaluation news, and insights into the Iraqi dinar. Stay informed and ahead of the curve with our timely analysis and breaking developments. The dynamics of currency exchange in Iraq. Currency exchange rates play a significant role in shaping the economy of any country. These rates determine the value of a nation's currency compared to foreign currencies, affecting trade, inflation, the purchasing power of citizens, and the overall economic stability. For countries like Iraq, which are in a period of post-conflict recovery and political transition, the fluctuation of exchange rates is particularly impactful on its economy and citizens. In this analysis, we will focus on the movement of the Iraqi dinar, IQD, against the US dollar, USD. Iraq has a fragile economy due to ongoing political uncertainty, dependence on oil, and the aftermath of years of conflict. Its currency, the Iraqi dinar, fluctuates frequently against major global currencies, especially the US dollar. This volatility can be observed in the recent fluctuations of the exchange rates between the two currencies, as reported on Tuesday. Detailed breakdown of the exchange rate movements. According to the agency's survey, the rates of the US dollar against the Iraqi dinar slightly increased on Tuesday, marking higher levels than observed earlier in the day. In Baghdad, specifically at the Central Al-Kafir and Al-Harithiyya stock exchanges, the exchange rate reached 150,400 dinars for every $100 by the market's closure. This is a minor increase from the rate recorded earlier in the day, where it stood at 150,000 dinars for every $100 in the morning. Similarly, the currency exchange shops in Baghdad showed a selling rate of 151,500 dinars for every $100, while the buying rate was at 149,500 dinars. This gap between buying and selling rates represents the profit margin for currency exchange dealers, who purchase the dollars from customers at a lower rate and sell them at a higher one. In Erbil, the capital of the Kurdistan region of Iraq, the exchange rates also reflected slight increases. The selling price for $100 reached 150,450 dinars, while the buying price stood at 150,300 dinars. Factors affecting exchange rate fluctuations. Several factors influence these fluctuations in the exchange rates between the US dollar and the Iraqi dinar. Economic stability in Iraq. Iraq's economy has been struggling due to years of conflict, political instability, and an over-reliance on oil revenues. The country's infrastructure is still in recovery, and public services often face disruptions. This instability causes the value of the dinar to be highly sensitive to external economic pressures. Dependence on oil exports. Iraq is heavily reliant on oil exports, which constitute the vast majority of its national revenue. When global oil prices fluctuate, Iraq's economy feels the direct impact. If oil prices drop, it can weaken Iraq's fiscal position, leading to a potential decline in the value of the dinar as the central bank may face difficulties maintaining its reserves. In contrast, higher oil prices generally improve the country's foreign currency reserves, stabilizing or strengthening the dinar. Central bank policies. The Central Bank of Iraq plays a critical role in managing the dinar's value against foreign currencies, including the US dollar. Through its foreign exchange auctions and monetary policies, the central bank aims to stabilize the dinar. However, external factors such as corruption, inefficiencies, and insufficient reforms often limit the effectiveness of these policies. Market sentiment and speculation. Another factor contributing to short-term fluctuations in the exchange rate is speculation by currency traders and market participants. Changes in the political landscape, reports of potential reforms, or international events can affect the market's perception of the dinar's future value, leading to higher or lower demand for the currency and subsequent changes in the exchange rate. Why the increase in exchange rates? Several possibilities could explain why the dollar's rate edged higher against the dinar on this specific Tuesday. External economic pressures. Global economic conditions, such as inflation or changes in the strength of the US dollar, can affect exchange rates. For instance, if the Federal Reserve in the United States raises interest rates or signals a tightening of monetary policy, the US dollar tends to strengthen globally. This could lead to an increase in the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Iraqi dinar. Increased demand for US dollars. A temporary rise in demand for US dollars within Iraq could also cause the exchange rate to increase. For example, if local businesses or individuals anticipate higher import costs or foresee economic uncertainty, they might prefer to hold more US dollars as a safeguard, driving up the demand for dollars and subsequently its exchange rate against the dinar. Political factors. Political instability, either within Iraq or in the broader region, could also contribute to a weakening of the dinar. If investors or the population at large lose confidence in the country's political leadership or expect future turmoil, they might seek the safety of a more stable currency, such as the US dollar. Regional differences, Baghdad versus Erbil. The paragraph highlights slight differences between the exchange rates in Baghdad and Erbil. While the differences are minimal, they reflect the distinct economic environments within Iraq. Baghdad's exchange rates. Baghdad, as the capital and the political and economic hub of Iraq, often sees exchange rates that reflect the national economy's overall trends. The Al-Kifar and Al-Harithiyya stock exchanges are significant centers for currency trading, and their exchange rates can influence rates across the country. Currency exchange rates in Baghdad tend to be more volatile due to the centrality of the markets. Erbil's exchange rates. In contrast, Erbil, the capital of the semi-autonomous Kurdistan region, has a slightly different economic landscape. The region enjoys a degree of economic autonomy, and its political stability has been relatively stronger than other parts of Iraq. However, Erbil still participates in the broader Iraqi economy and its currency markets are closely tied to those in Baghdad. Any fluctuations in Baghdad typically affect Erbil, though sometimes at a marginally different rate. Implications for Iraqi citizens and businesses. The fluctuations in exchange rates have direct consequences for Iraqi citizens, businesses, and the government. Impact on inflation. As the exchange rate of the dinar weakens against the dollar, imports become more expensive. Since Iraq imports a significant portion of its consumer goods, a higher exchange rate leads to inflation, eroding the purchasing power of ordinary Iraqis. This is especially concerning for basic goods like food and medicine, whose prices can rise quickly when the dinar depreciates.